First time I got asked the question, why fly fishing, that kind of drove it home to me and made a little light bulb go off, is when I was in Rockport, Texas, and I walked into a conventional fishing shop. I think it's blown away now. And the guy said, why take something that's so difficult as fishing and make it harder by fly fishing? You know, that stuck me pretty hard. I'm trying to answer that. I didn't have an answer for him. It is hard. But our 35th president, if you don't know who that is, he had the answer in early 1960s. Let's listen to him and see what he says.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Yeah, that's right. We choose to fly fish not because it's easy, but because it's difficult, because it's hard. And it's one of those things that's hard to explain too, because it is hard. It's harder than conventional fishing. But there's things about it that I think set it apart in a superior way. I'll go ahead and say that. I'll just go out there. Than conventional fishing. It's holistic. The act of fly fishing itself is a holistic act, because what you're doing is you're using science. You have to clue into science. You're using art, the art of tying a fly. There's no denying that's artistic. And you're using other pieces and parts of your knowledge, whether it's the knowledge of hydrology or any of these other things, to blend in more with the fish you're after. And of course, another reason is for the beauty of it all, you know, just the environment. But those three things, mind, body, and soul, really fit in to fly fishing itself. Not just yourself, but the sport itself. So that's what I think about, why. But there are other reasons now, you know. I mean, think about it. We're still pretty low tech. We have no controversy about forward-facing sonar. We don't fight about tournaments and results and have lawsuits about tournaments. And we don't have the WWF-style tournaments going on. Hey, you guys that do that stuff, more power to you. That's great. I'm glad you do it. I would ride with you on a boat to do that and watch you do that point blank with camera in hand. But that is just not what fly fishing is about. That's all I'm telling you. It's not what it's about. And so it's not a money sport. It's a fractional size of conventional fishing in the economy of fishing. Tackle wise, every aspect of fly fishing is microscopic compared to the conventional fishing sport. Now you guys don't get defensive on me now. You conventional guys, I like you. I use conventional rods. There are times when I use a casting rod. Okay, it's ultralight, okay. But I use that when I need to do two things. Prospect for fish. If I'm not finding any fish, I'll whip out the spinning rod and a gold spoon in salt water or a silver spoon in fresh water. All this fancy lure stuff, I get on it sometimes, but I don't go fancy. I just prospect. When I find fish, that's when I switch over to the fly. Or number two is if the weather is just not letting me have any of it. You know, if you're going to travel and go a long ways to catch a fish, you want to catch a fish, you know. And one of the ways you can do it, if the fly has been shut out by the wind, is conventionally. I'm a spinning guy. I do spin. There are videos here on the spinning gear I have. I'm always kind of moving in the spinning gear world. In Texas and on the Texas coast, spinning gears, the southern coast, And you get to about Corpus Christi and go north, and it's bait casters. So that's an interesting phenomenon too. There's a mix. I'm not saying anything here that's absolutely true. I'm having an opinion that I'm giving you on why fly fishing. We do it because it's difficult, because it's hard. We do it because it's holistic. And the sport itself, you're always trying to find a way to do it better. From the first time I lost a fish, all I did was think about it and try to figure out how I lost that fish and how I would not lose that fish again. And the bigger the fish got, the more I thought about losing them, and didn't want to lose one. So it's a thing that will keep you awake at night until you finally get over it. But that is my perspective on the why we fly fish. If you're a beginner, come on in. If you're a very experienced person, great. What's your opinion on why you fly fish? Like I said, there's so many reasons, whether it's environment, whether it's getting away from people, whether it's the communal life of clubs and things like that are in fly fishing. I don't see the kind of things I see with conventional guys in their clubs is competitive. You almost never really see that in fly fishing clubs. It's more like sharing information. We're so starved for information that we have to share information really thoroughly because it's so important to our success. Conventional guys, they compete, they lie to each other. I know because they tell me they lie to each other about where fish are and what they're using and stuff like that. So it's okay. It's okay to do that. I'm just not a dyed-in-the-wool conventional fisherman. So there it is. That's why we fly fish. From John F. Kennedy to you. I hope you enjoy this video and it makes sense to you about why you're kind of drawn to this. You may be artistic. You may be scientific. You may be, needing the physical rest or exercise of fly fishing. It is not a high exertion sport, but it takes conditioning, balance, and a few other things that we're going to talk about holistically in the near future to fly fish. We're not speeding around at 80 miles an hour on boats typically. We are very calm lot, so to speak. And fly fishing, for that reason, kind of bodes well for aging and continuing to fly fish. There we go, guys. That's my opinion on why we fly fish, why it's holistic. We'll get more into the holistic side of it for sure. But remember, it's hard.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.